The man returned home from his business trip and found cigarette butts scattered at the door. This indicated that someone had been lying in wait there. Thinking of his wife who was alone at home, the man quickly grabbed his handgun, then climbed over the gate and sprinted toward the house. There were obvious footprints on the ground near the door. Carl's heart tightened. He rushed into the house without hesitation. Music was playing in the living room, but his wife was nowhere to be seen. He immediately went to the bedroom. Blood was splattered all over the walls. Carl quickly called his wife. Fortunately, she was only seriously injured. When she was alone at home, someone broke in and beat her severely. Seeing his wife covered in wounds, Carl was filled with uncontrollable anger. He vowed to avenge his wife. As a top assassin, his address had never been exposed, so he went to find his boss. Without a word, he pierced the boss with a nail gun. If not removed within 6 minutes, he would suffocate to death. The boss still refused to admit it, putting up a tough front, but just 3 minutes later, he collapsed to the ground in agony. Carl quickly put a newspaper on the ground to prevent blood from dripping on the floor. Unexpectedly, the boss, who had a heart condition, couldn't last even 6 minutes. Carl remained calm. He pushed in a trash can, stuffed the boss into it, and cleaned up the scene like that. Then he opened the bathroom door. The secretary, already terrified by him, quickly told him everything she knew, begging Carl to spare her life. Carl thought for a moment and decided to let the secretary go. Then he pushed the trash can and entered the elevator with her. But just then, 2 people walked into the elevator. The secretary didn't dare to make a move, because she knew well how cruel Carl was. If she dared to act, she would be killed immediately. The secretary took Carl back to her home, where they found the order to assassinate him. Having obtained what he wanted, Carl got up to leave, but he still had one more thing to do. With the name, it was time for revenge. He drove a rented car and went to the killer's house to spy on the situation. He saw that the other man kept a wolf dog. Carl quickly went to the supermarket to buy beef and sleeping pills. He went to the killer's house at night. The wolf dog detected him immediately. After Carl fed it beef laced with sleeping pills, the wolf dog soon quieted down. But as soon as he walked into the room, he was attacked. His handgun was knocked to the ground, and the 2 men grappled fiercely with each other. However, the other man was extremely strong. Carl had no advantage at all. Luckily, Carl picked up the gun on the ground in time and shot the killer dead before he charged at him. To escape the German pursuit, the Jewish man hid in an abandoned hospital. He survived on leftover food and dirty water alone. The next day, the Germans carried out destruction and cleaning in the hospital. The man was terrified. He climbed over the wall to leave the hospital, but accidentally sprained his ankle. He had no time to rest and ran toward the ruins again. He crossed the ruins and crawled into a hole to find food. He wandered around the cabin. Finally, he found a can. Before he could open the can, the sound of cars came from outside. He held the can and fled to the top floor, pulled up the crawling ladder, then hid in the attic. He didn't dare go downstairs until nightfall. The man tried to open the can, but accidentally knocked it over. At that moment, a German captain appeared in front of him. After learning that the Ladislaw was a pianist, the captain did not harm him. Instead, he took him into the room and asked him to play a piece of music. The weak Ladislaw sat down and began to play the piano. The beautiful music drifted over the ruins, moving the captain deeply. He believed what the Ladislaw had said, so he told the Ladislaw to go back to the attic and continue hiding there. Then he left. The next day, the captain came again, bringing him food. He told the Ladislaw to strive to survive. Soon, the Germans were ready to withdraw. Before leaving, the captain left him a lot of food and even took off his own clothes for him. The Ladislaw was deeply moved, but the captain asked for his name, hoping to hear his performance in the future. A few days later, the Polish national anthem sounded outside the house. The war was won. He couldn't wait to walk out the door. Looking at his compatriots not far away, his heart was filled with excitement. The days of hiding were finally over. The Germans were imprisoned in concentration camps as prisoners of war. A musician accused them of destroying his musical instruments. The captain ran over from the crowd. He asked the musician if he knew the pianist, the Ladislaw. Fortunately, the musician was just the Ladislaw's friend. He told the musician about himself and the Ladislaw, hoping the Ladislaw could help him this time. Everything returned to normal. The Ladislaw was still a famous pianist. When he learned the news, it was already too late. The prisoner of war camps were all gone. The Ladislaw recalled the past, feeling a faint regret. Finally, he restarted his performance career in Warsaw. As for the captain, he died in the prisoner of war camp soon after.